Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, is going to be my July TBR. Now, how I do my TBR is I use my Bookopoly board, which is 100% inspired by Becca from Becca and the Books 2021 Bookopoly board. Like, I 100% stole like most of the prompts from it. So yeah, but how I do is we do 6 rolls, and then I find books that fit those 6 prompts, and then I will also be mentioning some books that aren't on my Bookopoly TBR that I need to read in July as well. So as I stated, we're doing 6 rolls, which means that I completed basically all of my June TBR. The only books that aren't finished are Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller, but I'm currently like 68% into that and will be finishing it tonight. I'm filming this on the 28th for reference. And then Loveless by Alice Oseman, I'm fingers crossed going to have finished before the end of the month, but if I don't get that finished, that is fine because I only need, like, if I have one book that's unstarted, we're in the clear. So I've already filmed the rolls, so let's just start with like the first clip. So here's the board. As I've established already, we are doing 6 rolls, and we are starting off on this chance space, as that was the last space that we landed on in June. So let's just start off with roll number 1, which is 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So for this, it is like girl, boy, people, person, son, daughter, woman, man, brother, sister, king, queen. So basically like somebody's type of like title, or like just something like that of like any of these examples or anything kind of similar. So for the first prompt we got, I'm calling it People's Railway because it is like the title of People, and it's one of the railway spaces. So for this, I'm using Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. This, all I know is it's like vampires, and it's kind of, that's basically all I know. My best friend Morgan has recommended this series to me so many times, and I'm doing a kind of like buddy read of, at least we're gonna try to buddy read the series with a couple of my friends. And so this works because lover is a, like, you would call somebody your lover. It's, I'm counting it. It works. So yeah, that's the first book on my TBR. Roll number 2 gives us 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So an ebook, so just an ebook, it can be something like an ebook I'm borrowing from my library, an ebook from Scribd, an ebook that I have on my Kindle, just an ebook. For ebook, I'm going to be reading The Lightningstruck Heart by TJ Klune. My friend Clint is doing, like, starting a Klune along, and so we're going to be reading the Tales of Arania series throughout the rest of the year. I'll leave his announcement video down below, but I'm just gonna read you this description of the book, like that's on Goodreads, and this is gonna be an interesting book. So, once upon a time, in an alleyway in the slums of the city of Locke, a young and somewhat lonely boy named Sam Havertsford turns a group of teenage douchebags into stone completely by accident. Of course, this catches the attention of a higher power, and Sam's pulled from the only world he knows to become an apprentice to the King's Wizard, Morgan of Shadows. When Sam is 14, he enters the dark woods and returns with Gary, a hornless gay unicorn, and a half giant named Tiggy, earning the moniker of Sam of Wilds. At 15, Sam learns what love truly is when a new knight arrives at the castle, Sir Ryan Foxhort, the dreamiest dream to have ever dreamed. Naturally, it all goes to hell through the years when Ryan dates the reprehensible Prince Justin. Sam can't control his magic, a sexually aggressive dragon kidnaps the prince, and the king sends them all on an epic quest to save Ryan's boyfriend, all while Sam falls more in love with somebody he can never have, or so he thinks. This has been described as like Shrek erotica by TJ Klune. And so I'm just like, what? So that's going to be very interesting, and I need to read this because I will be on the live shows for the series, so I need to get these on my TBR, and this works perfectly because I will be borrowing the ebook on Hoopla through my library. Roll number 3 gave us 8 again. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, disability or mental health rep. I think that's the first time I've ever landed on that space, so that's great. Next we have disability / mental health rep. I'm leaning towards the mental health rep with Solitaire by Alice Oseman. This I know features, I think, like depression and anxiety representation, as well as a side character with eating that is like recovering from an eating disorder. And so I don't know much about this except for following Tori Spring, who is Charlie Spring's older sister from the Heartstopper graphic novels. That's pretty much all I know about it. I pretty much like to go into Alice Oseman's books blind at this point and knowing nothing because I know I'm going to love them. I've given everything that I've read so far by Alice Oseman 5 stars. I'm hoping Loveless is a 5-star. I'm hoping Solitaire is a 5-star. And I'm really excited to be reading this because, well, I just want to read everything Alice Oseman has ever written, and I'm slowly working my way to that. Roll number 4 is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A poll pick. So I have to pick 4 books and then put them on a poll on social media, and then the poll decides which one I am reading. The next is poll pick. So I put up this poll on my Twitter, and as you can see, purple won. And purple correlates to It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. And this is the second book in the, I think it's just called like the Summers trilogy. The first book, which is The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I read in June. Oh shit, I forgot my cat was in here. He just popped out from under the bed. Okay. And so this essentially, we follow Belly, who goes to Cousins Beach every single summer, and she is in this weird love triangle with 2 brothers, and that's basically all you need to know. And so I'm planning on wrapping up the series by reading It's Not Summer Without You, and then We Will Have Summer, which is book 3, or We Will Always Have Summer, something like that, because I loved the TV show, and so I'm like, I need just to finish off the book series just to say I finished it, and also it's perfect time because July, summer, it's perfect timing. And roll number 5 is 8. What is it with 8s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So chances are there's 5 books that I want to read and 5 books that I don't want to read as much, and they are mixed together. I don't know what order they are. So the book is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. And chance. I was really hoping that I wouldn't get this month. But obviously I got Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. Out of all the books on my list, this one I really didn't want to because it's literally set in like winter, but I don't know much about this, so. What if you only had one day to live? What would you do? Who would you kiss? And how far would you go to save your own life? Samantha Kingston has it all. The world's most crush-worthy boyfriend, 3 amazing best friends, and the first pick at anything at Thomas Jefferson High. From the best table in the cafeteria to the choicest parking spot, Friday, February 12th should be just another day in her charmed life. Instead, it turns out to be her last. Then she gets a second chance, 7 chances in fact, reliving her last day, during one miraculous week. She will untangle the mystery surrounding her death and discover the true value of everything she is in danger of losing. See, that sounds really good, but my brain goes, this is like a wintry read, a February read, because it literally takes place in February, but I guess this is what I'm reading, I guess, yeah. And the sixth and final roll, I was gonna say something, but that will jinx me, is 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What the fuck? It's the same roll that I got at the beginning. That is almost trippy. So we've already established what this prompt means. At this point, I'm questioning, do I need to get new dice? And then, this has never happened before, is I've landed on the exact same square twice in a game. And that is, I landed on the People's Railway again. And for that, I am reading The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Thief is a way you describe a person if they are a thief. So I'm counting it. This I needed to get on to my TBR, as I am a co-host of the Riordan Along with my best friend Morgan. I will leave both of our announcement videos in the description. But it is a, like, reading Rick Riordan's books, more specifically like the mythology inspired books, like middle grade to YA stuff. And so this, so The Lightning Thief, we follow Percy Jackson, who finds out he is a demigod, which is the child of a human and a god, and he ends up having to attend Camp Half-Blood, and then ends up having to go on a like quest to discover who stole Zeus's lightning, if I remember this book correctly. So yeah, this will be the book we're reading in July, and I'm so excited because I read this series in, I think I started it about September 2019, so it's been about almost 3 years since I've read this series, and I'm so excited to be rereading the Percy Jackson books, and overall the rest of Rick Riordan's work, as I've only read the Percy Jackson series, The Heroes of Olympus and the Trials of Apollo. I haven't read the Kane Chronicles or the like Magnus Chase books, so I'm excited to just read everything. And I'm very excited that I got this on my TBR because I needed to. But that is not all the books. Technically, even what I'm going to mention is not all of the books. These are just the ones that have some sort of like, I need to read them. So the first two that I'm going to mention are Shatter Me and Unravel Me by Tahira Mafi. Unravel Me is the late night bookworming book club pick for July, which is a book club that I help like co-host, and so this is our July pick, but I still need to read Shatter Me because I didn't read it back in January when everybody else did. So yeah, so Shatter Me essentially follow Juliet, who her touch is basically, her touch is lethal. She cannot touch somebody or else they will die. She has been imprisoned for not quite a year. Does it say how many days? No, but she's basically imprisoned because of it, but now the reestablishment, who is basically like the government, is now wanting to work with her, and that's the very brief premise. And then we have Unravel Me, which is book 2, and then I also will be reading the novella Destroy Me, which is in the back of my copy of, like, it's in the back of my copy of Shatter Me. So I will be reading those, technically those 3 books, but I read this in a day. I read this in a day. So, I could probably do like just a weekend of reading these books. I might do that for, the Yalkathon weekend, maybe. That's if I'm participating. I'll talk about readathons I'm participating in a little bit. Then I will also be reading Crush by Tracy Wolff. If you saw our live for Crave by Tracy Wolff, everyone kind of agreed that we're going to do a read-along for Crave. So, like for the Crave series, so Crush is next, and essentially in Crave, we follow Grace, who she has to attend this boarding school in rural Alaska because her parents have died and her uncle runs this boarding school. And little does Grace know that this school is for these supernatural, so vampires, werewolves, dragons, witches, and it is just Grace going there, and I'm really excited to read Crush because of where Crave left off, and there are so many questions that I need answered, so many theories that my friend Morgan has said that I'm like, wait a second, that could work. So I need to see if it's true. Then I will also be reading Spellcaster by Carolyn Schultz. This I'm buddy reading with my friend Morgan. Morgan will be linked in the description. If you cannot tell, I've mentioned I've mentioned her 3-4 times already. But Spellcaster is a sequel to Spellbound, and in Spellbound we follow Emma, who has to move to New York, and when she does, things kind of start going a little bit different, and this is kind of a kind of like an urban fantasy, witchy book kind of thing, and Spellcaster kind of wraps up the duology, so finishing a series. And speaking of finishing a series, I will also be trying to read A Sky Beyond the Storm by Saba Tahir, which is the 4th and final book in the An Ember and the Ashes quartet. I started that series back in January, and I'm really wanting to finish it in July here. I'm just waiting for my copy to arrive from my library because I requested the physical book. And essentially in An Ember and the Ashes, which is the first book, we follow Laya, who, after her brother is imprisoned, Laya wants to find a way to get him out, so she seeks help from the rebellion, and essentially they, in exchange for helping Laya get her brother out, Laya has to do something for them, which is to be a spy at Blackcliff Academy, which is basically where the military is trained. Then we also follow Elias, who is a student at Blackcliff Academy, who kind of doesn't agree with everything that is taught. And that is the very brief premise. By the 4th book, things are so different. But I'm just really excited to finish off the series because it's finishing a series. I have I think I have almost 80 series started, so I definitely need to bring that number lower, especially since I'm starting 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting 4 series. That's just what's on my TBR, let alone the other books that I want to read that are starts of series. So I definitely need to finish off some series. And then there are 2 readathons that I might be taking part in. I'm not sure which one I'm taking part in because they take place over the same weekend. They're 72-hour readathons that take place simultaneously, so I'm not sure which one I'm fully doing or if I'm going to do both. One is Yalkathon, hosted by Jem from Bookish Gems, and then Kendra from Stementist Kendra on Twitter. I don't remember what her YouTube name is, but she doesn't really do YouTube. And Yalkathon is a 72-hour readathon that takes place the same weekend as Yalk, which is a convention in London, and is kind of meant for people that aren't able to go to Yalk but still want to do something fun. And then there's also the mid-year scramble, which is hosted by Margaret from The Word Nerd, and this is kind of again, it's the 72-hour readathon where you're just you're focused on reading books and either catching up on Goodreads goals, getting your physical TBR down, or getting your currently reading down. I really want to participate in this, but I'm not 100% sure even what I would do because there's 3 different paths you can do. I'm not sure. I'm going to figure that out closer to the time if I'm going to participate, and all that. I'll leave the information down below for both the readathons. Yalkathon, it would be the Twitter, and the mid-year scramble will be the YouTube video. And I think that is everything I need to talk about. But yeah, let me know what books you're reading in July, what readathons you're participating in July, or if you've heard of any of these books and your thoughts, or just anything bookish in the comments below. I'd love to hear, but I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!